Miami Hurricanes safety Kamren Kinchens is the top safety of the 2024 NFL draft class. We're going to tell you why next on the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Locked On family? Let's get locked in. Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank y'all for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. I'm your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find me on X at DP_NFL. I'm a national scout over with the Draft Network. Guys, I got to kick this thing over to my guy, my partner in crime, Mr. LSU 2019 national champion, Keith Sanchez. You can find and follow him on X as well at The Talent Code. Keep talking to him, baby.
What's up, Locked On family? This is Keith Sanchez, senior draft analyst with the Draft Network, man. And like my guy DPQ's up, 2019 national champ with those LSU Tigers, man. So you know why we're here, right? We're here to bring you that champ talk, championship level content surrounding the NFL draft 24/7, 365. Like we see over here, man. We talk college football, we talk NFL football, but it all starts with the NFL draft. DP, I'm gonna run down our show stage. We are talking safeties, the best safety prospects in this 2024 NFL draft class. And we're having an in-depth conversation. Like I said, man, we talk draft strategy, draft philosophies. We have the entire conversation. So stick around for that. Then we're talking impact rookies for tonight's game, this Thursday night divisional showdown, right, between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Should be a really good game, DP. Though maybe the first Thursday night good football game we've had the entire year. But we want to say thank you to the NFL, right, for this. And then we're going to give our game picks, man. So DP, why don't we get this thing started with our title sponsor?
Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use the code all lowercase LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Guys, as I told you guys yesterday, I'm battling like sinus infection cold. So if I sound like Life Jennings, take it for love, okay? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna bust out no tunes. I just aged myself a little bit, but if you know who Life Jennings is, if you don't, go look it up.
Name pulled. It must be nice. I like that one.
Must be nice. This isn't nice right now, though, Keith. This ain't nice at all. But we pushed through. Keith, Kamren Kinchens, right? And you've had Miami in your region over with the Draft Network for us. Seems like about 2 years now, 2-3 years. Kamren Kinchens is my top safety on the board right now, Keith. But when you look at these, and you got him, James Williams, Tyler Nubin, it's a lot of guys. When you look at this safety class, how do you feel about it right now, Keith?
I like it. I'm still trying to figure out if I love it, right? Like, I'm still in that dating phase with the safety class. And the reason I'm saying is that it's a lot of guys that you feel like maybe second round guys, right? Or top of the third, but you don't know if there's a safety where that he checks all of the boxes. And, you go down historically and your Jamal Adams and who else? Your Kyle Hamiltons, these guys that's been able to go in the first round. It's Dax Hill, right? It's because they've also had some level of exceptional athleticism too, right? And not saying I don't think these guys are good athletes. Instead, I'm still just trying to figure out. And we know that it like the threshold for safeties, DP, is, and we talk about the way the value has kind of dropped for safeties, also same for running backs, right? But the threshold for safeties, don't you feel like with guys like Brian Branch and Xavier McKinney, that it came down to just simply how fast their 40 time was? And you would hate that it's that simple, right? But I feel like it came down to that. I think if those guys ran 4.4s, they would have went in the first round, but they ran 4.5s, mid 4.5s, so they both went second round picks. So the only thing I'm looking for with the safety class, DP, is for those guys to check the athleticism box, because there are some guys I like Andrew McCouber from Clemson, right? He's a guy that I would battle and try to put in that conversation for safety. One, James Williams. Everybody doesn't know James Williams. He's the other safety for Miami. He's 6'5", 6'4 and a half, 225 pounds. He can play free safety, play strong safety, walk in the linebacker, and play outside linebacker. Play stack backer, and then play outside linebacker also. And I want to have a conversation real quick about him. DP is the fact of, we want to say versatile defender, right? We're going to have that conversation, and then we're going to say 6'4", and then you're going to say a really good athlete, and then everybody's going to say, oh, this is Isaiah Simmons. We've seen this before. Why don't you believe this isn't Isaiah Simmons with James Williams?
I feel like coming out of college, James Williams is just a more instinctive defender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Clemson moved Isaiah Simmons everywhere, but in doing so, it limited his ability to develop mentally at one specific position. So then when you get him to the NFL, it's like he says, well, when you put me on the line as a stand-up edge, the run game is so much quicker than me playing 17 yards back at safety. Right. Then you put him at linebacker. Now you try to put him at weak side, middle linebacker, try to throw him in the nickel. And it's like, yeah, no, he needs stability. And where you see James Williams, while he is versatile, you see enough from him in terms of where he's lined up. Like majority of his stuff, he's either at safety in too high, or he's at linebacker, Keith. Truthfully, that's where he spent most of his time. So it's like, okay, I feel like if you put him at strong safety, you think about cover 3 teams, right? The Seattle Seahawks stuff. When I see James Williams, know who the first person come to my mind? I think about Kam Chancellor, Bill Wise, right? Like he looks like Kam Chancellor.
He hits like Cam too. Like he'll blow 100%. Some stuff up. He'll blow.
He
some
has
stuff
no
up.
regard for the other person's like health. Like he wants to lay you out, right? He plays a physical brand of football. So if you talking about cover 3 defense, right? You think the Buffalo Bills, right?
Yeah.
A defense that needs physicality, that needs to be tougher, to be more aggressive and hit harder and strike some fear into somebody. They don't have a lot of people on the team that do that from a physical style of play. But you put him as that strong safety in the cover 3 where he's more so rolling down post snap, or he's kind of a robber technique. He's taking away those middle of the field type of stuff, those intermediate routes, things like that. The way he hits will absolutely make a quarterback in the NFL second guess throwing that dig. Because it's like, I might get my receiver killed if I toss this ball. Because he's going to trigger down, make that hit. He's either going to do that, or he's going to be a big dime backer as well. You know what I mean? A big nickel, big dime backer, where you take an actual linebacker who has like solid athleticism, but you know you don't want him covering a whole lot, to where you put James Williams in that spot, and now you feel much more comfortable with your defense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I get you on James Williams, and I like that, and I even think about like with the the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys is also another team too that plays that cover 3 type scheme. But DP, there's another safety that's talked about a lot, and as USC safety Kellen Bullock, right, 6'3", 180 pounds. People may feel like he's the best range guy, right? You're talking about the true free safety that can run sideline to sideline, but being 180 pounds at safety. And there's questionable tackling there, right? And that's how I feel about it. And right now, for a lot of people, he's ranked as the number 1 safety. But the conversation for me is, how do we go about that, right? Is like the ball skills are there. But I think about a guy that when I was at LSU, right, Grant Delpit. And this guy was a top 5 pick one year. Then came back the next year, missed a couple tackles, and everybody was out on him. He went to the second round. And I'm like, I don't think there was anything wrong with him, right? But they killed him so much just on like, hey, he didn't tackle, right? And Grant Delpit was 25 pounds heavier than what Kellen Bullock is, right? And he showed
Williams.
And he was already a much better tackler, DP. He was a much better tackler coming out of college. So I don't see Kellen Bullock beginning to end the number 1 safety going in the first round, second round, because I think that part is going to scare teams, the tackling part of being 6'3", 180 pounds.
Keith, cornerback Greedy Williams got knocked for not being a great tackler. He went from a first round pick to like a second, third round pick, right? Yep. And it's like, okay, that's a corner. You're a safety, and you're built just like him, maybe a little smaller. So no, for me, Kellen Bullock is probably safety. He's probably like safety 4 on my list right now, just because the frame, the lack of tackling, and just. Go back to the USC game, the Oregon game this past weekend. Their first big play, he missed a tackle in open space. He's triggering downhill, supposed to close, make a secure tackle. He ducks his head, whiffs. The guy goes like 60, 70 yards.
So you know what it reminds me of, DP, and this guy has had high level play, and I do think he's a good player. but he's been injured a large part of his career, DP, and that's Malik Hooker, right? A guy that was extremely talented, you know, by coming out of with Ohio State, right? Can make all the plays, has done a lot, you know, in the NFL, but he's been injured a lot. And when you look at him, he's 200 pounds, right? And but a lot of them has been the collision type situation, right? From his time in the coach, like making collisions, and the wear and tear is taking on his body. So when I look at Malik Hooker, right, I can't help but think of Kellen Bullock from the perspective of like, I could just see that path, right? To where it's like, man, okay, this guy is talented, but him being able to hold up in the run game is definitely going to affect his ability to be healthy. And I don't even want to say the old adage, right? But the best ability is availability.
And Keith, the crazy thing about it is, as we talk about all these guys and their do's and don'ts, cons and pros, the most complete guy to me, or the two most complete guys on my list, is Tyler Nubin from Minnesota and Kamren Kinchens from Miami. Because Kam Chancellor can tackle, he blitzes, he's athletic, he's physical. He even shows some prowess of coming down into the box, playing man-to-man against some tight ends and against slot receivers. Same thing with Tyler Nubin. He's 6'2", 210, range, ball skills. He can tackle. He can move around. Those are my top two safeties. But Kamren Kinchens right now is safety one because of everything that he brings. I think he's the most complete guy. And then you talk about like the Andrew McCoubers of the world as well.
Well, DP, Kam Chancellor is your safety one right now. Let's see if he finishes this NFL draft process as your safety one. We'll see. There's a lot of intriguing things. We have a lot of checkpoints along this draft process, but let's keep this thing going. We are on to Thursday Night Football tonight. We're recording this podcast this evening, right before Thursday night kicks off, right? Because we're trying to get the most information, and then we're gonna pick who we think is gonna win. But let's jump into these impact rookies, DP. Well, rookies and second-year players, because the Ravens and Bengals have drafted well over the past 2 years. So let's get into these impact rookies and second-year players.
Why root for your favorite team on an empty stomach? Don't do it. Order on DoorDash and save on football watch party favorites. Guys, I live in the Greenville County area of South Carolina, and one of my favorite spots to order from and get dessert from is a Cheesecake Factory in Greenville. I love it because me and my wife, first of all, cheesecake's one of our favorite desserts, but we love the variety. Reese peanut butter cup, red velvet is probably the best, a top tier, right? Chocolate fudge, double chocolate, whatever, all the different flavors they have. And you can get that ordered to your front door, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's not something that you want to miss out on, especially after eating the pizza, the wings, sodas, burgers, or whatever you had while you were watching the game or while you were at the tailgate. Once you get home after leaving that tailgate and you want some dessert, you can check out the Cheesecake Factory. Guys, all you got to do is get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code LOCK23. For tonight's game, when you talk about an impact rookie, I think about Zay Flowers for the Baltimore Ravens, right? The twitched up, dynamic yak monster that he is. And we broke down Lamar Jackson, I think the Detroit Lions game on the Draft Network YouTube channel a couple weeks ago. And I think Zay Flowers had some plays in that game. You just watch him all over the season, whether it's the short to intermediate game or they protect Lamar and let him throw it down the field. Zay Flowers is a big-time impact player for this Baltimore Ravens offense, and I want to see how Todd Monken kind of just moves him around in this game, finds and creates advantageous one-on-ones, and who covers him. You know what I mean? Because I think, Cam Taylor-Britt's a second-year player for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's been a stud corner for him, man. Who knew? One of our guys from the 2022 NFL draft class. I love CTB's game. I wonder who's going to fall. Is it going to be, I think it's Mike Hilton, the slot receiver? Is he going to be tasked to follow and try and slow down and shut down Zay Flowers? Because if not, man, Zay Flowers can break this game wide open. You're on mute.
Damn, my bad.
You good.
No, I'm gonna definitely look at Zay Flowers too, DP, because I think he has a chance to break this game wide open. And like we say on the film breakdown, we broke down how they had that like not a triple option, but a quadruple option, right? With being able to, he had 2 wide receivers to pitch it to. Lamar could have kept it and then also give it to the running back. So I'm looking for those type of things, but I want to switch to the Bengals, DP, and talk about the safeties, right? And we're talking about the young guys, Jordan Battle and Daxton Hill. Jordan Battle, I don't believe he's not the starter, right? But he's a guy where I think those two complement each other perfectly on the field. Daxton Hill is your prototype free safety, can play that high safety, can play man-to-man in certain situations. And then Jordan Battle is best served in the box, right? He's best served in the box, making plays, doing things, just around the line of scrimmage. I really like that safety combination of Daxton Hill and Jordan Battle for the Bengals.
No, I like that. And sticking with the Bengals, another name he's one of Dame's dudes, DJ Turner from Michigan, the corner. We talking about him and CTB on the field at the same time. DJ Turner's played good football, man. You're not going to outrun him. His footwork, his stickiness in man-to-man coverage, that's a potential guy that we could see on Zay Flowers as well, but also potentially on the veteran Odell Beckham Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith, like even just looking at the also on in terms of the defensive side, Myles Murphy, their first round pick, right? Like 6'8", 270-pound defensive end. When they do kind of go to some of those sub packages, get him into the game. At the end of the day, you need as much athleticism, arm length, power, size on the field to be able to collapse that pocket on Lamar and not allow him to break free. Now, at the same time, you got to cover in the back end because he's shown on tape this year. That's cool. I'll stand back here and I'll dot you up if you give me opportunities. But you brought up Jordan Battle. It's going to be interesting because him and Daxton Hill kind of roam in the middle of the field with Mark Andrews at tight end.
Yeah, and one other name with the Cincinnati Bengals that's a young player that's balling out right now, and I'm extremely excited, man. And that is Kam Chancellor, man. This guy, he's scrappy. Like if you're a Bengals fan, you're getting a lot of Adam Pac-Man Jones vibes, right? And maybe he's not the punt returner, right? But just a guy that's just making plays at the cornerback position. He's kind of undersized, right? Probably right at that 5'10", 180-pound threshold, but he's shown to be competitive, right? With every wide receiver he goes against. He's passionate. He just has a natural instinct for the game of football. So Kam Chancellor is another guy. DP, you mentioned Myles Murphy. I want to just get back into the trenches, right? Because I think the trenches are important for both teams. And you have the Cincinnati Bengals with Cordell Volson, right? Young guy from North Dakota State. That's protecting Joe Burrow. So you watch him, and then you watch him going against some of these interior defensive linemen for the Baltimore Ravens, Justin Matabuke, Michael Pierce, Broderick Washington, right? He's going to have his hands full. And that's if the Bengals want to establish the run, right? He's going to have to get some movement up there. He's going to have to do some things. So as a young guy, right, you're going, this is a divisional opponent. We know this is a black and blue conference. Like you got to bring your lunch pail and your hard hat.
No, 100%. And then Andre Yoshevas, the wide receiver from Princeton that we met down at the Senior Bowl, like if T. Higgins is still kind of hampered by that injury, like Andre can stretch the field, good ball skills, physical frame, and he's a rookie, right? He's a guy who's still learning the NFL game, but he's shown to be like gaining the trust of Joe Burrow. So it's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out because at the end of the day, like these are two really talented teams. Granted, the records are a little different right now with the Bengals coming off that loss to the Texans. This is the divisional matchup. The Ravens lost to the Browns, so they're 7-2, kind of losing some momentum. It's a short week, right? So you need these young players to come out, step up, and make plays because at the end of the day, Lamar is going to need Zay Flowers, right? And that defense for the Bengals is going to need Kam Chancellor, DJ Turner, Jordan Battle, all those guys, man. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a really fun battle, Keith, to kind of see which 2022, and 2023 NFL draft class stands up and outperforms the other.
Yeah, I agree 100% with DP. Let's keep this thing going, man. Let's keep it flowing. And what we're going to do is get into game picks. Who's going to win? And we finally have a good Thursday night football matchup, DP. The Ravens, the Bengals. We get some good high-quality football. We get some good quarterback play, right? We get some competent coaches, some good offense, some good defense. So, DP, we want to pick these game picks and stay tuned because this may be the most entertaining one, right? This is going to be the most entertaining out of all the Thursday night football matchups.
We spent a lot of time talking together, you and I. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts, who sits. I'm thankful for our connection, guys. And I want our chat to be a little more personal today. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply of ED medications. Do you realize what that means? Whether you're on extended travel, bracing for a major weather event, or limited by yet another supply shortage, you are covered, my friend. Thanks to our partners at Jace Medical. Life-saving antibiotics and a long list of daily medications can be ordered in a 1-year supply. Even ED generics for Cialis, Viagra, or Revatio prescriptions. If you or someone you love would like some peace of mind by having a year supply of any daily medication, go to jacemedical.com to see if it's ordered for you. But remember to use the promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. All right? Remember to use the promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your purchase. It's time to pick this game, Keith, and we just spent the whole second segment talking about second year and first year players for both teams that need to step up and make plays. The Baltimore Ravens are at home. So what does that typically mean? It typically means the defense has a little extra juice to it, right? The defense has a little extra juice. I think that the Ravens are going to be able to pull this out, move to 8-2, stay within striking distance and in striking range, especially with Kansas City, who is also 7-2. Kansas City has a big-time matchup Monday night versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So if Kansas City loses and they go to 7-3, Baltimore moves to 8-2, they move into that number one spot of the AFC. You understand what I'm saying? So I think Ravens, and a player that he's not, I think he's a veteran, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember which year he was drafted. Safety Geno Stone has been balling for this Ravens secondary. Of course, and then we didn't even mention Kyle Hamilton in the second segment. I forgot all about Kyle Hamilton, the versatile Swiss Army knife, being able to blitz, run, defend, be a low-hanging defender in the passing game. But Geno Stone, Joe Burrow wants to push the ball deep, Keith. He wants to push the ball down the field to Jamar Chase. He's got to figure out where Geno Stone is because he can make plays. I'm picking the Ravens to protect home field.
You're picking the Ravens. Okay. And I don't mind that pick, right? Because what the Bengals are coming, they lost to the Texans this past week? Was that this past week? They lost to the Texans. And then you obviously had the Ravens losing to the Browns, a game that they shouldn't have lost, right? And then I just think about this AFC North DP in whole, right? And you have the Browns, right, which Deshaun Watson, there's just breaking news that he broke, his shoulder's broken, so he's going to be placed on IR. I think he's out for the season.
Was it yesterday morning they tweeted? I saw the tweet. I was looking at Twitter when the Browns dropped their tweet, and I was like, oh, my God.
Right.
Wow. All right.
That's crazy, man. And then you had the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, as incompetent as their offense is, they're still winning games, right? They're towards the top of this division, and that's crazy, DP. And that's crazy. So you know how important this game is. This is tough, man, because I believe these teams met each other also in the playoffs last year. I think that's what Tyler Huntley played, and he tried to, throw the ball, kind of jump over and put the ball over the end zone. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Baltimore because you say they're at home, and I think they're going to defend this thing. And I think they're the more well-rounded team. I think they're closer to being more consistent than what the Bengals are right now. The Bengals they're playing inconsistent football week in and week out. You don't know what version. As soon as we thought we was getting the best version of the Cincinnati Bengals, right, and they're hitting their stride, hottest team in the AFC, hottest team in the NFL, they lose to the Houston Texans, right? So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens because I think they're much more closer to being consistent.
No, I'm with you. I think right now, and the Baltimore Ravens defense is probably going to come and try to play with their hair on fire with a lot of, aggressiveness, get after the passer, right? And we know that the offensive line for the Bengals can be a little shaky at times. So I do think like Joe Burrow had 2 interceptions against the Texans, right? It just didn't look like Joe Burrow. Yeah. It didn't look like Joe Burrow that we're accustomed to. He doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. So I feel like John Harbaugh and this defense are going to try to force him into turnovers, get the ball to Lamar Jackson, and that offense still work. It's crazy. They're 8-2, and they're still not running on all cylinders right now. If they can do that, Keaton Mitchell, the rookie, I forgot to mention him in the last segment. Keep feeding this young man. He's explosive, dynamic. Him and Big Gus, the Gus bus, you know what I mean? Gus Edwards, those boys can really carry this run game where you don't have to use Lamar Jackson unless you absolutely need to. So we're both picking the Ravens.
I have to disagree with you a little bit on the running back situation. Listen, my fantasy team, I'm trying to make a run right now, DP. Trying to make a run. And I have Lamar Jackson as my quarterback. I can't afford for him to be handing the ball off to Gus Bus on the 1 yard line. He got to tote that thing. I need some quarterback counting. I need some quarterback
He's
power.
on my team too. I need to throw at least 3 of them things, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I need a 30, 40-point game.
So we appreciate Keaton Mitchell, Gus Bus, all that. But listen, Lamar Jackson. We need Lamar Jackson throwing the football. So DP, man, that wraps up another show, man. We'll see about our fantasy teams. We'll keep y'all updated on how that goes, man. But that wraps up another show, man. I want to say shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us every single day, man. We are your dynamic duo, man, for everything NFL draft worthy, man. Like we said, man, we're hitting our stride. We're getting into this thing. So we want to say thank you for tapping in with us every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. You can find DP Damian Parson on X at DP_NFL. Like we always like to say, man, y'all tweeted us, y'all talk to us, man, because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank y'all for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day and being our everydayers. On tomorrow's show, you know what it is. It's Friday. We get into Make a Statement, Where You At, and then Rookie Spotlight. So we got a fun, action-packed show on tomorrow. So as Keith says, talk to us because we do talk back. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.